What do we think? Are we good here? Should we do this? You kids ready?
Super ready.
Hi. Yeah. Okay, are we recording here? So, here's the thing.
Beware, I live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Soup. I'm your host, Daemon Hatfield. With me this week is Greg Miller. Anthony Gallegos is here. Hello. Very special guest, Levi Buchanan is here. Spectrosity! And we are joined by a live audience here at PAX 2011. Thank you very much for joining us here today. Say after me, school! School! Oh, it's beautiful. I'm so wet right now. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing, Greg? I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. We ate sushi a little while ago.
We did. It was really good.
Oh my god. There's sushi plates, just like Japan. They got the little plates that go around. You eat it.
The
and
color
they
market plates. So
we need this in more cities.
What was that? It's called like Blue Sea Sushi.
That's right. But they spell C with the letter C.
That's clever. It's right across the street, around the corner from Cheesecake Factory. We want to get like a great lunch here at PAX. Anthony and I were in Germany just last week. Actually, Levi and I were in Amsterdam even more recently than that, actually. We flew back on Tuesday.
And that is all that will be said about that?
That was Amsterdam. Before we get into anything, are there any super fans we need to recognize in the audience?
There's a million. We did it before, right? Where we're like, oh yeah, we gotta make sure we recognize some of the super fans, and I forgot how many of them there are. It's like when I was like, Brittany's coming, and I forgot about Vince, Serge, Devin, Lisa, Mentalk One. He's the man who films everything, and then I steal it and put it on YouTube. One of the biggest Game 2 fans I've ever met in my life, Craig Harris.
Oh yeah.
Craig Harris! Craig Harris! Craig, what have you been up to since the 15-year tailspin?
Well, after your mother delivered some donuts,
yes.
I 6 months of thinking about my next job. Eventually, I found my place, and it's downstairs right now. You need to go down. I'm here showing off the Landscape Marine. That's your box is being coming out next year. So I'll give you a t-shirt.
Hey, speaking of t-shirts, Greg's wearing a really cool t-shirt today.
Yeah.
Any of you want this t-shirt?
Yeah.
You have to come to our party tonight.
I thought you were going to give this one away. I was like, damn.
You can do that one.
No, I'm not going to. I didn't bring it back. Yes, come to the party. GameWorks tonight, 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock. Some free drinks, some free food.
Yeah.
Lots of panda to be had.
Another IGN that's here with us today is Jim Reilly.
The news hound.
Right here in the front row. Anthony, when we were in Germany, Anthony fell in love with the cocktail waitress at our hotel bar.
I don't feel like it's fair to say I fell in love. I think we all fell in love.
A little bit, yeah. You were the one. I wasn't going to make a move. She was yours.
Yeah, well, we established that early on.
You and Bobby, but Bobby's married, so.
Her name is Laura.
Laura!
Not Laura.
Yeah.
Laura. And she was a beautiful German girl who made German actually sound pretty instead of like really hard scary. And I ended up asking her out because Daemon told me I had to. He like pep talked me. Well, no lie. She said she did right.
But he was still a champ for asking her out. And she told him that he was her favorite.
Yeah, but I feel like that's like when a stripper's like,
You're my favorite.
The only people in here that are cool are you guys.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I still miss her. Daemon was like, we should get a picture with her, but I was like, no, before I know it, I'd like drop everything and move there.
Exactly.
You want to be with this waitress?
Yes.
So.
Sensitive guy, I think. But we drowned our sorrows at a German club, dancing to the wee hours.
Yeah, we're playing hot tracks like DMX's Up in Here.
They're also playing Black and White by Michael Jackson. Really weird. Mixed in with like current top forces. Anyway, let's get to the topics at hand today. Greg, what's the title of our talk today?
It's a first. We've done a few of these panels here and there, and we've never had a topic. Today we chose IGN Don't Hate Us Because We're Beautiful. That's the thrust here. That's what we're doing.
We're joined by Tina Sanchez.
Hey, what up, everybody? She doesn't have a mic if you're listening at home. Great radio. Anyways, yeah, so we're talking about the fact that we are IGN, we are the biggest and we think best video game website out there, and a whole bunch of people hate us. A lot of people don't like us and talk a lot of shit about it. So that's the panel. Thanks for coming.
I think of it as the Kim Kardashian effect. She's one of the most popular people in the world.
She's also a vapid bitch.
Yeah, maybe that's not the best comparison.
I like that before Kim Kardashian, scientists didn't know what to call this phenomenon. They don't like it. They're really popular and it's something weird. We need somebody to reference that to.
IGN is 13 years old now. Officially started in
14, says Craig Harris from saying.
97.
We hold the Guinness World Record for being the world's largest video game site. Yeah. So what are some of the perceptions about IGN out there?
I mean,
That's what we're talking about today.
I mean, so I think I have a unique perspective.
That's why I was glad to have both Anthony and Levi here today, because they have unique perspectives. Greg and I are lifelong IGN fans, diehard IGN fans.
First job in the industry was that.
First job, I've been here 5 years, Greg's been here 4.5 years. And we've only worked at IGN, we've only loved IGN. But Anthony worked at one at the first.
Yeah, and you know,
Before we bought them.
worked with a lot of,
Like the cattle they are.
and I worked with a lot of print people, and we always looked over at IGN, and it was partially like jealousy, right? Because we were like, why the fuck does everyone like them so much? We really didn't understand, and it was really easy for us at the time, in a mixture of like jealousy and all kinds of other things, to look at them and be like, man, they fucking suck. All the the guys are nice. The guys are nice, but the website is trash. Like we were just like we wouldn't say we hate them.
You thought we were nice?
No, yeah, a lot of people thought IGN people were like nice when they meet them and stuff. I think that's universal. Like you can talk to people from GameSpot, everybody they always say IGN.
No way. The thing you don't know about the games industry is that how like you go to these things, like you go to these panels, and usually for a lot of not panels, but parties and whatever, and for a lot of times, you're the representative for your site, and lots of times everyone there is so like shy and reserved that they don't talk to each other. It took a long time.
It is very easy for clicks to develop and for you to be like, those guys must be, I don't know, they seem like they're just big old party jerks or something like that. But you guys are like, I think IGN always got associated with being the kind of crazy guys that were getting handed. And
Well, that's
That's nice. That's nice.
right, and it was intimidating because I feel like we were much more nerdy. But regardless, like the reason I think we were like, we don't understand why IGN's like biggest. We have like a copy editor. We're putting up all these stories. We felt really great. But then when I came to IGN and like through GameSpy, and I realized it was like there's a balance that has to be struck when you're working online. Like everyone we worked with was thinking print, and print is one thing, but when you're working online, there has to be a balance between like making the best copy you can and also being timely. And we sucked at being timely. And IGN is like the most aggressively timely site I've ever seen, and that's awesome. Like they're also, and also the first thing I noticed when I worked there was like, man, why does IGN get all these exclusives? Like, is it just because it's the biggest site? Sure, that's part of it, no doubt about it. But it's also because like IGN people are like hyper aggressive about like working their ass off about getting those exclusives, networking, making those connections. And you kind of, and I think we all just realized working with them slowly over time that it was like, okay, not only are these people like not jerks, they're all way passionate. They're not just there about the clicks. They're like there because they're writing about what they love about. And it's just like completely changed my perception once I was like on the inside. So I like it.
Yeah, there's always this perception that we just play games for a living, and I think we'd all agree that we really enjoy our jobs, and our jobs are awesome, but we bust our asses to make sure that we stay number one.
Thank you. Thank you for appreciating hard work. Fuck you, put up a new babe all right.
I mean, IGN isn't just big because they're like, how can we churn out like they do, obviously we care about like traffic and stuff like that, right? But it's also because like they're constantly adapting their content to like, what the audience wants, and they're experimenting. And so like you can even look at that over the years. Like IGN's been smart about transitioning to video and starting to push out the personalities of its editors more. Because I think like when I was at 1UP and stuff, I had no idea who you guys were or anything like that, right? Outside of like maybe podcasts, which, you know, compared to the size of IGN, this is a much smaller audience, you know, but outside of that, like, we had like no idea who these people were, never knew what she looked like, pictures, that's all being like way expanded now.
That's one of the biggest changes I think since I came on board, right? Is like what I used to want to be from being on the outside when I'd apply at IGN and I'd apply at 1UP and I'd apply at GameSpot or whatever. The other sites were nice enough to give me a rejection. And then like 1UP on the community forum, you know, Matt Leon would give me advice and talk to me about what I needed to work on and stuff like that. And IGN was just a black hole of where my email went and disappeared, and we didn't have that inner sites up. And the blogs sucked. The blogs were terrible, you know what I mean? Like no one used them, so you didn't know these people's personalities. And now since we're there, you know, like, I mean, jump back. I mean, this is, you know, you're 50 or my 4.5 year. I remember my first year here, people came back from PAX who just went up, not to cover it, just to go be part of it. They came back like, oh man, I just turned my badge around and people off, they saw the IGN thing. Well, like, there was this whole belief that, and I think for a lot of gamers, right, that IGN was this corporation or was just this machine pumping out things. And so that the fact that we would have a PAX panel like 4.5 years ago seemed crazy. You wouldn't see that kind of thing.
So this is awesome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's something we fight with every day as far as trying to change that perception that we're not a bunch of robots.
I feel like we have more personality and bigger personalities than any other site out there. I mean, I don't know of anyone else that does Dinosaur Week.
And I think that that's a testament to how IGN's changed, right? Like I would say 4 years ago that never would have happened.
Totally, yeah.
Like IGN was about like, let's go to the show, let's cover every game, even if we've covered it 28 times.
That's also a different philosophy we've had. We used to go to E3 and cover every game.
Barbie horses, like
even Barbie's Baby Mystery 12, which was actually pretty good. So, I love it.
Levi, stop being so quiet. What's your interesting perspective?
Levi's perspective is that he's a former IGN employee. Levi was at IGN for how many years?
A little over 8 years.
And before that, you were at Nintendo Power?
Yeah, so I started, my first job out of college was at Nintendo Power as a writer, and then I stayed in the industry, whether it was for freelancing or I worked at GameFam for a little while before that went under. And so I had a long time appreciation of IGN. It was actually, you know, one of those goals. You know, I started, you know, when reading IGN back before it was IGN, when it was Saturn World, and then it became a collection of sites, and then it officially became IGN. So I had a real great personal appreciation and affiliation. You know, to work at IGN for me was a huge goal, and so when it finally happened, it remains, you know, a major accomplishment for me.
So what do you think your perspective is now, having left IGN? Do you feel like you can talk more freely, like more openly about? Is that like, since you're not employed by us anymore, do you think you like the office?
I think one of the biggest things that I realize is how IGN, for better or for worse, takes over your entire life.
When you work there?
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greg and I eat, breathe, sleep, and live IGN.
And it's one of those things that's always so hard to talk about when I go home. Like when I go back to Chicago, right, and I meet my friends who are doctors or whatever they're doing, whatever their day job is.
Doctor friends?
Yeah, I know, really weird, right? Me. And the funny thing is, this doctor I'm thinking of, right, he used to backyard wrestle. We almost paralyzed him with a coffee can once. Anyways, you go and talk to them, and you know, they talk about their friends and what they do after work, and yada yada. And it doesn't involve their coworkers. Whereas like literally Daemon and I work next to each other all day long. We go on these trips in the room together, and then on the weekends we hang out together. You know what I mean? Like we're together all the time. And it's hard for people to understand that we work at a site that we believe so much in that, I mean, everyone there is your best friend. They are your family. That you get so caught up in it that there's no, and that's why it's so weird when like somebody wants to leave or somebody feels like it's their time or there's layoffs or something like that. Then it's really weird because then there's that gut check moment of, oh right, this is our job still. This is strictly family.
And I feel like, you know, it is like a company of over 200 people, right? So from the outside looking in, it is like a huge corporation. And when people hear those stats, it's easy for them to look at it. But editorial is like a group of like 15 people that hang out. So like when I think about IGN, right, I don't feel like I'm loyal to Fox, who owns us. Like that's not what my loyalties lie. My loyalties lie. I would even say my loyalties lie with IGN as a company of 200 people. My loyalties personally lie with like a team of 15 people, like at work and hang out with. Like that's what I think of when I think of IGN. Like I don't think about all. I mean, I know the tech side, but that's important. To me, it's like IGN is like the core group of us that all hang out. We all work together. We all like look out for each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when one of our editors got robbed 2 years ago, Greg started a thing and we ended up buying him a new iPad and giving him like $700. And
Yeah, that was Nick Coleman. He got mugged.
It's like second week here. This
Like right after he
scrawny Australian dude got stuck up with all the money he had in his pocket. Dumb Australians.
But I think the thing that it kind of takes over your life, I think there's the social aspect of it, sure, but because I was never in the office, I always worked from home